everyone. Today I'm going to share a couple of cards I made. One was for Mother's Day, but I gave the card to my mom so I don't have it anymore. And the other one is just this hello card. So I'll show you how to make both. First of all, the Mother's Day card. So I'm going to go into pattern, and I will choose my font. I'm going to choose this font and choose an M. And click OK and click OK. There's my M. And I'm going to then go add a heart. And that heart, I believe, is in this section. There it is. And the heart, the heart will take the place of the O in the word mum. So there I've added it. Now, just to make things easier, you know how I like to work in larger, I like to work with my images that are larger. So I'm basically going to make everything really big at first and then make it smaller. So I have the bounding box on my M. I'm going to go back in and resize it. So we'll make this a lot bigger, and we do want it to overlap the heart. So that looks like it's overlapping. We want it to be about the same size as the heart. And I think that is all right. Okay. Now what I'm going to do then is add a second M and click OK, and then I'll just scoot that M over, and that way I am assured that it is the same size. Just want to make sure it's in the same spot as the other M. Okay, it might have to move down a bit, and we'll look. And I'm looking at my grid lines here to make sure, check the overlap and check to see there the M is the same height. I think it has to go down a little more, and this M has to move over. And we zoom in. I want it to be approximately the same. And I think that looks pretty good for the M's. Okay, there I have my mum, and it's all connected. So I click OK. I click all the bounding boxes. And then I click OK. And now I'm going to weld. You know how much I like to weld. And there I have my mum word that is welded with the heart, and I click. Do I want to go back and move this M a little bit? Yeah, let's do that. So I will move it just a touch over and then click OK and go back, and now I'll weld it. There. Okay. So now I have my mum. Now I can make this a little bit smaller, because I want to add a frame. So let's go back into patterns, and you can add any frame. The frame I used from my mum card was, that's a good question. Which frame did I use? Well, for that card I used this frame. I think it was this one. Yeah. So here's the frame I'm going to use, and let's just add it there. Now what I'm going to do is I want to flip that over. So I'll go back here into my sizing options, and I want to flip it horizontally and work with it that way. So I'll click either 90 degrees and it will flip horizontally. So now I'm going to make this pretty darn big, because like I said, you can always make it smaller, but when it's bigger, then you can see what you're doing on the screen, right? So my mum has to be smaller to fit in there. And basically I'm making a shadow box card, and I want the I want it to connect. I want to weld it to the edges of the frame, and so let us make sure it's touching on the bottom, and we want it to touch on the sides. So let's zoom in. Is it touching on the sides? Yes, and it's touching on the bottom. and the heart is touching, so that's all good. So click OK. Now I'm going to go back into my bounding boxes and click OK, and I will weld everything again. There we go, and you can see your mom is now welded into the card front. So I click OK, and now of course I'm going to resize it to a much smaller size. So my card width, let's say, will be 5 3/4 inches wide. And before I do that, before I cut anything out, I am actually going to now add a card base. So I don't know if many of you probably know, if you go into your ScanNCut library, there are some cards here, some card bases. So I'm going to choose this card base and click OK and add it there. But I'm going to make it bigger because I want it to fit behind this card, my mum here. So let's make it bigger. Click OK. Now let's see if my mum fits on there. It does. Remember, this is going to be a top opening card. So I think this is a little bit too big. We'll make it smaller. I don't want the base to show. So that looks like it's approximately the right size. So there is that and my card base, and I'm ready to cut that out. Okay, I unload my mat, and there I have my mum shadow and also my card base. So you can see these notches, that's where you will fold your card nicely there, and then we will put the card together. Okay, let's assemble the card. I have here a stamped image, and I used a watercolor technique that you can watch in the other video. And I'm going to take my scrapbook adhesives by 3L adhesive, and let's just stick that on. And then I'm going to take the front of the card, and I could just lay it flat and adhere it flat like that. Or I could, what I'm going to do is pop it up for a shadow effect using some crafty foam tape. Wait a sec, where's the front and where's the back? And this paper I'm using is from Coordinations. There, and then what we do is we will then just take off the adhesive backing and then pop this up onto the card like this. And there you have your cute little Shadow Box Mother's Day card. Thanks for watching.